forever. Hey, you all. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. So, I always talk on Expert Tax Service page. And I talk a lot to tax pros, but it is officially tax season. So I need to be talking to my taxpayers and making sure I'm educating you as well so that you are ready to file your taxes. Now, we was getting off tax season last week, but this really, to me, is my official day. Because I had to get ready last week. I had to get ready. Now I'm ready for my clients. I don't get a couple of returns, but now I'm ready for my clients. So, let's talk about what y'all need to be doing before y'all file y'all taxes. Okay? So, it's a couple of things that we as tax preparers have an issue with every year when it comes to people filing their taxes. And we've been having this issue for the last, I want to say 2-3 years, and it look like it get worse and worse every single year. And that's taxpayers doing two different things, right? Or getting two different documents. Now, one of the documents is, hey, Quatina. One document is the Form 1095A. That has come one of the biggest rejects that tax professionals have to deal with every single year, the last couple of years. And the problem is a lot of y'all don't know whether or not y'all have got y'all insurance from the marketplace. Or you might have signed up for the marketplace, then used the insurance, and then you don't think you need anything from them. So if you was one of those people who signed up for the marketplace, they call it the Obamacare, they call it the Trump care, they call it the marketplace insurance, they call it so many different names. But if you went online and registered for health insurance, or you applied, say, for Medicaid for your kids, and then they sent you over to where you can apply for something and you actually applied for it, then it's a possibility that you are supposed to get a Form 1095A. Now, people who get a Form 1095A, it doesn't matter how long you had the insurance. If you had the insurance for one day, even if it's for one day, you need that form. And you cannot electronically file out your taxes if we don't have that form. So I do need for you to make sure that you do not have a Form 1095A. And what tends to happen is we ask that question, and so many people say, no, I didn't have it. And then when we send your tax return out, your return get rejected, and it says you had it. And then we call you, you say, ooh, I didn't have it. I don't know what it's talking about. I had insurance on my job. I didn't use anything. And then we find out after your return can't go out that you really did have it. You have time before you file your taxes, a lot of you all. So it's real important for you to go check and make sure you do not have that form. Please, if you got your insurance from healthcare.gov, please go check. Okay? Now, that's one thing we need. The second thing is your IP pin. Now, you need to know that everybody do not have an IP pin. People who have an IP pin are people who might have had issues with identity theft, people who might have had issues with people claiming them or their dependents, and then they had to go put an IP pin on themselves. And so those are usually people who have an IP pin. Every taxpayer do not have an IP pin. And most people are aware if they're going to be issued an IP pin. So the IRS has already sent IP pins out in the mail. So if you haven't checked your mail, or you maybe got your mail sitting on the counter in the house and you haven't looked at it, make sure you check to make sure that you did not receive your IP pin in the mail, especially for your dependents, because it's hard. I don't even think you can retrieve the IP pin online for your dependents. So if you don't have that for your dependents, you're gonna have to call the IRS. They're gonna have to mail it back out, and then you're gonna have to wait weeks in order to file your taxes because you need the IPPN for your dependent. And that's again for anybody who get an IPPN. Everybody do not get one. The people who get one know they get one. And then if you don't have it, you don't have it in the mail, you are able to retrieve it online. But go ahead and retrieve it online before you submit your information to get your taxes done, or before you go to your tax appointment. It's certain things that you know you need every single year that you need to bring into the tax company. And this is just a reminder for those who are getting an IPPN for you to make sure you have your IPPN. Those two things are the biggest thing that we have when it comes to rejects as tax pros. And we don't want a whole lot of rejects. Rejects can harm us. So please get those two documents, okay? Now, for my self-employed people, please start calculating your income and your expenses. If you don't have a bookkeeper or an accountant, which a lot of y'all do not, go ahead and start calculating your income and your expenses. Be tax appointment ready with that information. Make sure you go review where you took payments from. So if you took credit card payments or debit card payments, think about all the places you took them from. Like, for instance, I take payments from everywhere. So I got to go to Wix, I got to go to Stripe, I got to go to PayPal, I got to go to Square, and I probably got a 1099 from all of them. So how many different places are you receiving payments from? Okay, I have a business cash app. So how many different places are you receiving payments from? Go ahead and write that down so you can either run the report for it, because whether you get a 1099 for it or not, you still need to report the income. So go ahead and write down what that is, okay, so that you can go look. If you got a Shopify store, any place that you were receiving payments on, go ahead and write it down and be looking for the information, whether it's writing a report or waiting for a 1099K or 1099 NEC. We need y'all to count y'all stuff and stop coming into the tax offices with you don't know what you spent out. It's easy. A lot of y'all have bank accounts. If you're not keeping up with your income and expenses, that's not necessarily good, but you can go back and try to track it. If you're using your business account, go back and try to track it. Track what you was commonly using. Okay, what did you spend out? What categories are those in? Start calculating. You got time. Go ahead and do it now. It's 2026. You can always go back to all your stuff in 2025. And even if your tax preparer is going to help you reconstruct your income, it's always good for you to have an idea of what some of those things are that you paid out, and that you can bring that information actually into the tax company. So make sure y'all tracking y'all income and y'all expenses. And what about people who are self-employed and maybe you had hired an independent contractor that you paid over $600 to last year? Well, you know that you are supposed to submit 1099 NECs to the IRS for those people by January 31st. And issue those 1099s out to those people by January 31st. So if you had contractors, definitely if you had people who you actually had to fill out a W-9 form, it is your responsibility to make sure that they get the amount that they earn on that 1099 NEC to them. And you don't need to just give the 1099 NEC to them. You need to file it with the IRS. A lot of times people are getting flagged. And it might not even be flagged because of you. They might got flagged because the IRS had an error in their system. And they end up getting flagged. And now somebody manually has to look at their return. And they have this 1099 on here from you. that you gave them, but the IRS do not have. That can hold them up. So make sure that you're not just issuing the 1099 NECs. Hey, Miss West, and hey, Serena, do not just issue the 1099s to the contractors. You have to issue the 1099s to the contractors, and you have to submit the 1099s to the IRS. And for my people who have payroll, do payroll, or if you're filing an S corp for yourself, make sure that your W-2s are also submitted to the IRS for whoever's doing your payroll, and make sure that yours have been issued. And while we're on that subject, if you know that you have registered with the state as a partner, okay, with someone, make sure that you file your partnership return before you do your individual return. It's a must. You can't do it, you just split your amounts on here, your return, you split your amount on your returns. If you are registered as a partnership with anybody, file your 1065 before you do your individual tax return. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people be forgetting about that or whatever. Good morning, Tina. Be forgetting about that. So make sure you are filing your stuff the way you're supposed to file it. And then if you do not have a bank account or somewhere where you have a direct deposit number, a routing number to get your refund deposited into your account, I really suggest you do that. Now, I do have some questions for the IRS that ain't nobody answered yet. But the IRS is no longer sending checks out. Now, if you go to a third-party bank and your fees come out of your return, we are still issuing checks from that bank. But when it comes to the IRS and you filing directly with the IRS, so for instance, if you come in and instead of us taking the refund out of your tax prep fees out of your refund, and you decide to pay for everything up front to file your taxes, that means we're cutting out the third party bank and your return is going to be submitted directly to the IRS. You need a bank account now because the IRS is not issuing checks. Now, when it comes to like third party banks, we can cut a check from them, but the IRS is not issuing checks. So if you know that your tax return is going to be filed directly to the IRS, you need to make sure you have a bank account or something for your refund to be deposited in. I'm trying to figure out like when they have when the returns bounce back or the account numbers are wrong, like what are they doing to make sure you can get issued your refund. I'm thinking they might have it where you can change your account number or update an account number in your IRS account. I haven't really got that far to try to figure it out, but just be cautious. Try to get you a bank account. Okay. I think that's it for the most part. Just make sure you have all your income documents. Don't try to leave anything off your taxes. You wasn't supposed to be leaving stuff off your taxes anyway. I know you see probably a lot of tax pros saying a lot of things in reference to, pushing don't leave stuff off your taxes this year. You make sure you have your stuff for your business. The IRS is not playing. Like, that's the message that we out here delivering. And they're not playing for real in most cases. But honestly, with a lot of this stuff, they've been doing. A lot of tax pros are just really becoming aware. But they are they flag more returns every year, so you have to be careful not to leave nothing off, because you don't know if you're gonna get flagged or not. And if you get flagged and you leave something off, that's a whole headache. So you don't want to leave anything off. A lot of people's frustrated because because you don't have your W-2s yet. Y'all know that they don't have to have your W-2s to you to January 31st. I don't know why we be having this conversation every year people mad because the people ain't sent you your W-2 yet. Y'all know that they do not send out W-2s until January 31st. We have to go through this every single year. And in some cases, some of y'all is not going to get your W-2s until the first week in February because they do not send out W-2s until January 31st. And try to remember all the jobs you had this year. If you drove Uber, if you drove Lyft, if you drove DoorDash, you have to report that income. It don't matter if you're a 1099 or not. Do not leave that income off. You have to report that income. Anywhere you make some money at, it's not a thing that you don't have to report it unless it's something that is really considered not taxable. But for the most part, most of that stuff, anything you're doing that you're earning money on, you are supposed to report it. So don't be like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to report the DoorDash. I only did it for a week. Or I only did Lyft for a month. You're supposed to report the income. You're supposed to support the income. So I'm doing a challenge for myself. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can make it. I'm doing a challenge for myself. So for this week, for the kickoff of tax season, before I get too busy, I am. Hey Pamela, hey Kenzie. I am going to go live every day to talk to my taxpayers. I know I've been talking to tax pros all year. But it's time for me to educate and talk to you all. It's time for me to make sure that these people, if you don't come to me, that they're not getting over on you. And make sure that when y'all come in, we can kind of do y'all taxes the way it's supposed to be done. And that y'all just not leaving stuff. Hey, Latrice or Latisse. That y'all not just leaving stuff off of y'all taxes. And y'all know what to bring in. So stop rushing. And I don't know just a yet. Good morning, Martha. I don't know just a yet. I know I'm in Georgia. And I know I looked in my portal Friday. I haven't looked in it yet. But y'all do know that if you do get your taxes from healthcare.gov, if you in Georgia, I know some other states do it as well, but I know last year for Georgia residents, our stuff is on Georgia Access. And so you got to probably go to Georgia Access to get your 1095A, not healthcare.gov. And it might be like that for other states as well. But whatever it is, I need y'all to go find that 1095A if you have it. And then IP pins, make sure y'all got them. Everybody don't have them, okay? Everybody do not have an IP pin, but you know if you got an IP pin. Oh, some of y'all might not know if y'all got an IP pin because your parents might have put an IP pin on you and you filing the taxes for yourself this year and they might didn't tell you. But for the most part, you know if you have an IP pin. Gary, hey Janelle, hey y'all. So y'all still tax pros. I need to see the taxpayers. I'm trying to reset my algorithm. Okay, Facebook, I am trying to reset my algorithm. Show me to the taxpayers. Show me to the people that need my service. Show me to the people that need my service. But anyway, so I'm doing a challenge for myself. And I'm gonna go live, try it every day. My life be lifing, so I don't know how that's gonna be. But if you are in the market looking for a new tax pro, come see me. You can come see me, or you can submit your information online at www.experttaxservices.com. I service clients nationwide. So if you think I can't do your taxes, I can. I operate just like if you come in the office. My process is the same. You just submit your information online. I will do an interview over the phone. We will discuss your tax return. I will send for your signature, and then we will send it out to the IRS. So I'm looking and waiting for my existing and any new client. We are celebrating 20 years in 2026 over here at Expert Tax Service. And so we're excited to serve you this year. We're so excited. And for my clients who's been an Expert Tax client for years, for a year, I'm going to have to say thank you every time I get on live, because for y'all to have kept us here for 20 years is a blessing. And I do not take that lightly. So let's get it. If you feel like this video is a video that's, informational for somebody else, make sure, thank you, MT, make sure you share it out. We want to spread right information. It's a lot of wrong information out there, but we want to spread correct information. And not only that, stay tuned, because it's a lot of new deductions for this year. Okay, it's a lot of new deductions, and y'all need to be aware of them and exactly how they actually work. Okay, so I'm going to drop my link in the comments. You need your taxes done, submit your information online, or you can, I don't have no booking link. Okay, I don't have no booking link, but you can email my assistant, because I got a person. Okay, you can email my assistant at my customer service email to schedule an appointment with me in person in Columbus or in the Atlanta area, because I service both of my locations. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.